This is a follow-up video for GW students in the psychology class and in the statistics class. I want to elaborate on one thing that we touched on, which was the physiology of attention. And thinking about attention is a great way to bridge the worlds of psychology, the world of biology, and the world of spirituality. And perhaps most importantly, the world of everyday life, the practical world that you are in right now as you're listening to this, as I'm talking about this. So what do I mean by the physiology of attention? Usually when we think of physiology, it's thought of in terms of the physical sense, right? Hence the root phys. But it's important to recognize that from other philosophical perspectives, the distinction between the physical and the mental is not that which it is assumed to be in our society, right? In popular society. So we're speaking about the physiology of attention because how we use attention is critical in how we are experiencing our day-to-day lives. And if we're to take a step back from attention, what is it that we're talking about as attention? Attention is a kind of focused awareness, right? If we think about awareness in itself, we often think about it in terms of awareness of something. I am aware of this screen. I am aware of this sound. I am aware of the space around me. I am aware of the temperature in the room. It's awareness of something. But what might awareness be as itself, right? Prior to its directionality. So it's important to distinguish these two kinds of awareness. Directed awareness of something, which we can qualify as attention, and undifferentiated awareness or undifferentiated consciousness, right? Consciousness of something and undifferentiated consciousness, or awareness of something and undifferentiated or undirected awareness. So let's get a feel for this, because as this becomes a skill that we develop, as we learn to use awareness and attention in different ways, the way that the body feels in space changes, the way that the mind feels changes, and the different ranges of the mind that we can occupy and utilize also show up or come online, so to speak. So let's do a few exercises to practice this. First, use your awareness and focus it on something. So if you're in a room, I'm just going to do this with you. So I'm going to pick this one corner up there. All right, and it's where the three planes meet, right? The ceiling and two walls, they both meet in that one corner. And the corner gives me a really focused area to attend to, right? It's a very particular point. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is pick the point of this screen because it's a little bit easier to look at. And keep your attention flowing towards that converging point, whatever point you've selected. You may get other thoughts in between. Your attention may jump to something else, but whatever it does, just bring it back to that visual point that you've selected. And as you're doing this, note what it feels like. What does this feel like for attention to be flowing like a river consistently to this point of convergence? And now, sharpen that focus a little bit more. Take that awareness that you're using and make it a little bit more intense. Intensify that point of attention, right? Don't strain so much that it hurts or you get a headache. Just a little bit more intense. Almost like you're turning up the sharpness, the contrast, the intensity. And now, note how it feels as compared to before. Note the change in intensity, the change in your experience. And note that you actually have dials in the mind to turn up sharpness, brightness, intensity, and other factors. Okay, and now for another 10 seconds, see if you can turn up the intensity even more. All right, turn up the intensity, the focus. It's like trying to lift that weight the last couple inches. Note what it feels like and let go. So now let go completely of that focus of attention, and just, it's almost like, because you just did 20 reps of a weight. And notice what this feels like. What you've done is taken your awareness, you've converged its rays, you've taken its rays and converged them on a certain point, and then you intensified that point, right? And you felt what that feels like. And you intensified it even further, and then you relaxed it, and now it's just remaining here. It's still hearing these words, these visual stimuli are still there, but it's in a much more relaxed state. Feel the contrast between that intense form of awareness, which we call directed attention or focus or concentration, and this more relaxed state. All right, this practice is playing with, becoming familiar with the physiology of attention. So you can practice this a couple times a day. Practice it in a way that works for you, right? Don't do it in a way that becomes very intense, because it can cause headaches and all kinds of stuff, right? But just start to see that, wait a second, there's an entire toolkit here that we've never been taught about, that's always been talked about in terms of spirituality, or in terms of wellness, or in terms of other things. And those categories are fine. I speak about those categories as well. But let's not forget that most of all, what we're talking about is practical stuff. And this is just the beginning. The different ways attention can be used can change the quality of our lives. And please do share this with your friends in college, grad school, so that they can start to play with their own attention as well.